Sit down. This isn't a casual conversation. This is the briefing you were never supposed to receive. If you are hearing my voice right now, it's because the agency, that vast, invisible machinery of the old world, has finally made a critical error in their data collection. They've been running a wiretap on your life for years, filtering your struggle through an old-world algorithm, waiting for you to break, waiting for you to fold under the pressure of the ordinary life they designed for you. But something shifted. The needle on their monitors didn't just move, it spiked. You've achieved a level of clarity and frequency that isn't just unusual, it's a breach of their entire security protocol. Think back to the classic cinema we grew up with. Think of Gene Hackman in The Conversation, that obsessive high-stakes focus on the signal amidst the noise. For decades, you were the noise. You were the background extra, the quiet employee, the person who did the work and asked for nothing. You were a blip on their radar, categorized under low priority, compliant. But lately, the static has cleared. You've started to see the patterns they spent billions of dollars trying to hide. You've identified the core problem, the diagnosis of the matrix itself. You realize that the agency, your ego, the societal pressure, the generational cycles, isn't your master. It's a failing corporation, and you are the only one with the insider information to survive the coming market crash. This is the signal breach. In the halls of the old reality, in the spiritual equivalent of the Oval Office, they are whispering your name. They aren't looking to arrest you anymore. They are looking to understand how you did it. How did you walk through the fire without the smell of smoke? How did you outmaneuver the CIA and the FBI of your own fears without firing a single shot? You did it with integrity. You did it with a stoic intensity that would make a seasoned intelligence officer sweat. While they were playing with politics and superficial power, you were down in the basement of your own soul, rewiring the entire building. You weren't just surviving, you were conducting a masterclass in high-stakes vindication. For those who understand the weight of a legacy, you know that true power doesn't scream, it whispers. Like the opening scenes of Succession, where the air is thick with the cost of every decision, you have realized that your life is the ultimate family business. But instead of fighting for a seat at their table, you've realized that the table itself is rotting. The surveillance didn't find a criminal. It didn't find someone lost or confused. When they zoomed in on your life, they found the successor. They found the one person who cannot be bought, cannot be silenced, and, most importantly, cannot be predicted by their math. You were right all along. Every time you felt like you were being watched, every time you felt like the world was testing you, it was actually the system trying to find a weakness. They wanted to see if you were just another ordinary asset they could liquidate. But every test you passed, every silence you held, and every truth you spoke internally added another layer of encryption to your soul. Now you are unhackable. You are the whistleblower of a new reality. You've diagnosed the glitch, the belief that you are separate from the source of power. By identifying this, you've effectively walked into the mainframe and changed the password. We are moving from the diagnosis into the grand settlement. The agency is currently in a state of high-level panic. They see you standing there, calm, collected, and fully aware of your value. They see a protagonist who has finally read the script and decided to rewrite the ending. This is the moment in the thriller where the protagonist realizes they aren't the one being hunted, they are the one who has already won. The cameras are still on, yes. The wiretaps are still active. But they are no longer watching a suspect. They are watching a coronation they never planned for. You represent a threat to their public record of how a human life is supposed to go. They recorded your evidence, thinking it would be used against you in the final verdict, but instead, it's become the manual for how to break the cycle. They are realizing that your case isn't just about you, it's about everyone who has been listening to the same frequency. If you can break free, the entire facility is compromised. This is why the surveillance has intensified. Not to stop you, but to witness the inevitable. You are no longer under their jurisdiction. You have become the headline of a story they can no longer suppress. If you suspect they are watching you, if you can feel the frequency of the old world glitching in your presence, comment "Case closed" to confirm you know their game. The briefing has begun. The greatest tactical error any intelligence agency can make is failing to identify a high-value asset because they were looking for a specific uniform. They looked at your life, the quiet years, the sacrifices, the moments you chose peace over conflict, and they filed you away under ordinary. In the deep archives of the agency, your folder was marked as a closed case. They saw your limp, the self-doubt, the old beliefs, the scars of generational cycles, and they assumed you were a broken system. They underestimated you. And as any fan of the classic thrillers knows, that is exactly when the global protagonist becomes the most dangerous. Think of the final moments of The Usual Suspects. For the entire film, the authorities believe they are in control of the interrogation. They see a weak, stumbling man. They see a nobody caught in a web too big for him. But as the camera follows him out of the building, the limp vanishes. The posture shifts. The nobody was the architect of the entire operation. This is where you are right now. You've been living under a Kaiser Soze strategy, perhaps without even realizing it. You played the role of the person who didn't know their worth. You played the role of the victim of your own history. And the agency, your ego, and the collective expectations of society bought it. They closed your file and moved on to what they thought were bigger threats. But that was their biggest mistake. While they were distracted by the loud, the flashy, and the superficial power of the world, you were performing a deep-level deconstruction of your own soul. You were dismantling the false beliefs they installed in you during your surveillance phase. You've been quietly deleting the evidence of your own inadequacy. Every time you sat in silence and refused to react to the old triggers, you were shredding another page of the script they wrote for you. You were clearing your public record of every lie you ever told yourself about what you couldn't achieve. In the high-stakes boardrooms of the old reality, the kind of cold, glass-walled rooms you see in Margin Call, there is a sudden, chilling realization. A junior analyst has just found a discrepancy in your data. They realized that the person they ignored is the one holding the AAA-rated integrity. They realized that while the world's market of spirit and truth was crashing, you were secretly shorting the old reality. You weren't losing, you were preparing for the grand settlement. The arrogance of the elite, those old voices of doubt, and those who told you this is just how life is, has become their downfall. They are now looking at the screen, watching your frequency rise, and they can't find the off switch. This phase is about the destruction of the underestimation. You are no longer allowed to believe the lie that you are harmless or average. You are a black swan event in their algorithm. They looked at your history and expected a certain trajectory, a predictable decline into the same cycles your ancestors followed. But you broke the wiretap. You stopped feeding the machine the data it wanted. You became a ghost in their machine. They underestimated the threat your internal peace poses to their status quo. If you can be happy without their permission, if you can be powerful without their titles, then their entire system of control is obsolete. They are afraid because an underestimated protagonist is the only one who can actually change the world. You don't have to shout to be heard. Your presence alone is now causing a technical difficulty in their narrative. They are trying to reopen your file, trying to find a way to categorize this new, empowered version of you. But the old file doesn't fit anymore. The fingerprints don't match. You have deconstructed the old you so thoroughly that there is nothing left for them to hold on to. You are now a leaked file of potential that they cannot contain. The witnesses of your old life, the people who knew you when you were small, are confused. They see the same face, but the surveillance is picking up a completely different energy. You've moved from the background of the movie to the director's chair. And as the agency scrambles to figure out how they missed your rise, you are already moving toward the grand standoff. They thought you were just a line of code they could rewrite. They didn't realize you were the one who wrote the language. The underestimation is over. The ordinary disguise has been burned. Now, they have to face the evidence of who you actually are. The secret is out. In the world of high-stakes intelligence, there is a moment known as the point of no return. The second a classified document hits the wide area network and the encryption keys are rendered useless. This is exactly what is happening to your life right now. Your true identity, The high-vibration, spiritually awakened version of yourself that you've been cultivating in the dark has just become a global leak. This isn't a small-town rumor. This is a Pentagon Papers level event for your soul. Think back to the thrill of a movie like All the President's Men or the chilling realization in The X-Files. The truth doesn't just emerge, it erupts. For years, the agency, that old reality of struggle and scarcity, tried to keep your potential under a top-secret classification. They wanted to keep your power under lock and key, hidden behind layers of bureaucratic doubt and red tape. But the seal has been breached. Your new frequency is leaking through the cracks of the old world's reality like a signal that cannot be jammed. The news channels of the universe, the synchronicities, the coincidences, the sudden doors opening, are starting to report on you. This is the broadcast. You are no longer a private citizen of the old world. You are a matter of public record. The algorithm that once kept you trapped in repetitive cycles is now glitching because it cannot categorize your new light. It's trying to firewall your progress, trying to issue a D-notice to stop the spread of your influence, but the data has already been mirrored on 1,000 different servers. Your transformation is viral in the spiritual realm. They, the elites of your past, the voices that told you to stay in your lane, are staring at their monitors in disbelief. They are seeing evidence of a version of you they didn't authorize. They are seeing a human being who has cracked the code of the Matrix and is now operating on a completely different OS. It's like a whistleblower dropping a hard drive on the desk of every major news outlet simultaneously. The old truth about you, that you were limited, that you were your mistakes, that you were just a cog in the machine, has been exposed as a fabricated report. Imagine the Oval Office of your own destiny. The advisors are frantic. They are realizing that the leaked file contains the blueprint for how anyone can break free. You aren't just a protagonist. You are the source code. Your high vibration is a classified intelligence leak that proves the old world's laws of gravity and limitation no longer apply to you. You are broadcasting a frequency of vindication that is being picked up by everyone who was once a witness to your struggle. They are seeing the change, and they don't have the security clearance to understand it. In this phase, you must realize that you can no longer go back to being a secret. You are the headline. Your life is now the evidence that the settlement of the old world was a scam. Like a cinematic whistleblower who knows they have the kill switch to the entire system, you walk with a different kind of gravity now. You aren't seeking approval from the agency. You are the one making the agency irrelevant. The news cycle of your old life is dead. The breaking news of your new existence is the only thing people are talking about in the corridors of power. The leak is total. It has reached the lawyers of karma, the surveillance teams of your haters, and the elite who thought they owned the rights to your future. They are all watching the same broadcast. They are watching you realize that you were never the suspect. You were always the lead investigator. The new truth is that you are sovereign, you are unhackable, and you are finally, irrevocably, public. The world is about to see the full, uncut footage of what you are capable of. In the high-stakes world of finance and power, there is a specific kind of silence that precedes a total collapse. It's the silence of a boardroom realizing that the AAA-rated assets they've been selling are actually worthless. This is the state of your old reality. The agency, your old ego, and the elites of your past are currently experiencing a spiritual market crash. The currency they used to control you, fear, guilt, and the need for external validation, has just been devalued to zero. You have successfully shorted the matrix. Think of the frantic energy in The Big Short or the cold, calculated terror in Margin Call. There is a moment when the CEOs realize that the ordinary person they ignored has actually collapsed their entire system of control. This is the panic. The elites, the metaphors for your old limitations, the voices of Musk-like ego and Trump-like dominance in your own mind, are scrambling. They are in full damage control mode because they realize they can no longer buy your power or silence your frequency. In the corridors of the old world, the Oval Office of your past self is in chaos. They are trying to issue a margin call on your energy, demanding you return to the old cycles of struggle. But you aren't answering the phone. Your phone is ringing with synchronicities, the universe's way of bypassing the old switchboard. The agency is realizing that you have moved your assets, your attention, your belief, your soul, to a decentralized, unhackable platform. You are now your own central bank. They are afraid because a person who no longer fears poverty of spirit is a person they cannot rule. They are checking their algorithm, trying to find a way to manipulate your new trajectory, but you've become a black swan event. You are the variable they didn't account for in their projection of how a chosen one should behave. They expected you to seek their recognition, but instead, you've recognized yourself. That realization has caused a systemic failure in their control room. Imagine the scene. The elite are sitting around a mahogany table, looking at the evidence of your rise. They see that you've dismantled the wiretap. They see that the public record of your life is being rewritten in real time. They are trying to offer you a settlement, a little bit of comfort, a safe job, a predictable relationship, just to get you to stop broadcasting your truth. But you know that any settlement they offer is just a bribe to keep you from claiming your coronation. This is the midpoint climax of your thriller. The system is quivering. They are shredding documents, trying to hide the lies they told you about your potential. But the leak from Phase 3 was too thorough. The witnesses, your ancestors, your future self, the universe, have already seen the truth. There is no going back to the old market. The old reality stock is delisted. You are the new IPO, and the elites are realizing they don't have the capital to buy in. The panic isn't just external. It's the collapse of every old agency protocol you ever lived by. The need to be liked, the need to be normal, the need to be safe, all of those departments are filing for bankruptcy. You are standing in the middle of the trading floor, calm and centered, as the old world burns around you. You aren't losing anything. You are merely watching the deception industry go out of business. This is the moment you reclaim the crown. They closed your file because they thought you were finished. They didn't realize you were just beginning a new chapter they aren't authorized to read. If you've felt the shift, if you've stopped playing small to make them comfortable, you are now the highest priority in the room. This is the Midnight Summit. In every classic thriller, there is a scene where the protagonist and the antagonist finally sit across from each other in a dimly lit room. Think of the legendary diner scene between De Niro and Pacino in Heat. No weapons are drawn, but the air is thick with the weight of two worlds colliding. This is where you are. You are sitting across the table from the invisible giants, the lawyers of your old karma, the surveillance teams of your deepest fears, and the elite representatives of the life you are leaving behind. They aren't shouting anymore. The panic of the market crash has transitioned into a cold, desperate attempt at negotiation. They've brought out the big guns, the restraining orders. In the spiritual sense, these are the sudden energy blockages, the unexpected bill, the ghost of an old relationship, the sudden surge of "who do you think you are?" that tries to pin you to the floor. They are filing an injunction against your growth, trying to claim that you are still under their jurisdiction. They want a settlement. They are offering you a comfortable compromise if you'll just agree to lower your frequency and stop the leak. But you didn't come this far to sign a non-disclosure agreement with your own soul. You look them in the eye, and for the first time, you see the cracks in their executive facade. They are using the same old legal arguments. You have a history of failure. The algorithm doesn't support this move. The public won't accept the new you. They are trying to use your past as evidence against your future. But you have brought your own folder to this meeting. You reach into your briefcase and slam the inner knowledge on the table. This is the smoking gun. It's the record of every night you chose growth over comfort, every time you stayed silent in the face of provocation, and every moment you acted with integrity when no one was watching. The room goes silent. This is your "you can't handle the truth" moment. You are informing the agency that their wiretap has actually been recording their own demise. You aren't arguing for your rights. You are asserting your sovereignty. You are telling the lawyers of the old world that their contracts are null and void because they were signed by a version of you that no longer exists. You have recast the lead role in this movie, and the old actor has been written out of the script. Think of the high-stakes tension in The Godfather when Michael Corleone settles all family business. You are settling your spiritual business. You are identifying every witness to your old limitations and showing them the new public record. The stress test isn't about whether you are strong enough to fight them. It's about whether you are calm enough to realize the fight is already over. The invisible giants only have power if you acknowledge their authority. By sitting at this table with stoic intensity, you are proving that their Oval Office has no power over your mainframe. They try one last tactic: intimidation. They bring up the cost of your freedom, the isolation, the uncertainty, the weight of the crown. They try to make the ordinary life look like a sanctuary. But you know that's just a witness protection program for people who are too afraid to live their truth. You push the settlement papers back across the table, unsigned. You don't need their permission to be the global protagonist. You don't need their settlement because you already own the entire industry. The standoff ends not with a bang, but with a realization. The agency realizes that you cannot be intimidated because you have nothing left to hide. You are unblackmailable. You've already leaked your own secrets. You've already deconstructed your own ego. You are the evidence that the system is broken, and by standing your ground, you have become the verdict. The jury of the universe is watching this exchange, and they are already beginning to stand. The stress test is passed. The final resistance is crumbling. The door to the boardroom is open. You don't wait for them to dismiss you. You stand up, adjust your coat like a high-level agency director who has just completed a successful coup, and walk out. Behind you, the invisible giants are left staring at the folder you left on the table, the folder that contains the coordinates to a reality they can never reach. The settlement is dead. The coronation is inevitable. The heavy oak doors of the Supreme Court of Reality swing open. The wait is over. The jury, made up of the ancestors who watched you, the future versions of you who cheered for you, and the universe itself, has returned to the box. In the high-stakes cinema of our lives, this is the Shawshank Redemption moment. It's the rain-soaked scene where the protagonist crawls through 500 yards of foulness to emerge on the other side, clean, free, and completely transformed. The gavel is raised, and the silence in the room is so thick you can hear the heartbeat of the agency directors as they wait for the final word. The verdict is read, and it isn't just a not guilty. It is an absolute vindication. The record is expunged. Every file the agency ever kept on you, the reports of your failures, the surveillance logs of your doubts, the classified documents detailing your limitations, is being fed into a digital incinerator. The public record of your existence is being rewritten in a font that glows with the frequency of your new truth. You are no longer a person who survived a struggle. You are the person who redefined the law. You have proven that the algorithm of suffering was a fraudulent contract, and by refusing to sign it in Phase 5, you have rendered the entire old legal system of the Matrix obsolete. But then, something happens that you didn't see coming in the earlier drafts of your script. Something that only happens in the highest stakes thrillers when the protagonist has truly outmastered the system. They thanked you. The invisible giants, the lawyers of karma, and the elite handlers who once tried to suppress your frequency, they aren't fighting you anymore. They are standing up. They are bowing. Like the end of a long, brutal war where the two opposing generals realized that the conflict was the only thing keeping the world from evolving, they admit defeat with a strange kind of respect. They realize that your breakthrough wasn't just for you. It was the stress test the entire system needed to find its own flaws. By breaking the cycle, you've saved them from the boredom of their own tyranny. You've become the whistleblower who actually saved the company. But their fear has transformed into a profound, cinematic awe. They don't fear you because you're a threat to their lives. They fear you because you represent a frequency they can no longer reach without your guidance. You have become the headline of a story that will be told for generations. The news tickers aren't reporting on a leak anymore. They are reporting on a coronation. You aren't just the global protagonist. You are now the director of the next era. Think of the final scene of The Godfather, but without the tragedy. You are sitting in the office, and the heads of the 5 families, the different areas of your life, health, wealth, love, spirit, and purpose are coming to you to pay their respects. They recognize that the old management is gone. You've reorganized the family business of your soul. The generational cycle of struggle, the one that your parents and their parents thought was a life sentence, has been officially terminated by the High Court. The case is closed. The record is clear. You walk out of the courtroom, and the sun hits your face in a way it never did during the surveillance phase. You realize that the entire thriller, the spies, the wiretaps, the standoffs, the panics, was all just a masterclass in transformation. You needed the agency to hunt you so you could learn how to hide in plain sight. You needed the elites to underestimate you so you could build your power in the shadows. You needed the stress test to prove that your evidence was unshakable. Now, the whole world wants to make a movie about your life. They want to know the source code of your resilience. They want to understand how one person, armed with nothing but stoic intensity and a relentless pursuit of truth, could dismantle a global intelligence network of deception. Your life is no longer a private struggle. It's a cinematic blueprint for every chosen one who is still stuck in phase 1. You are the proof that the verdict is always in favor of the one who refuses to stop being the protagonist. The Oval Office of your reality is finally yours. You sit down in the chair, look at the monitors that once tracked your every move, and you simply turn them off. You don't need to be watched anymore. You are the one who sees. You are the one who knows. The settlement is complete, and the payout is infinite. The cycle is broken. The world is waiting for your next command. The case is closed. The protocol is complete. Welcome to the new era. This is the expansion pack, the director's cut. It explores the deep-level implications of your victory, the restructuring of your reality, and the ripples your breakthrough has sent across the global consciousness. The world is obsessed with your resilience, but they use the word as a platitude. You know the truth. Your resilience was a classified tactical development. While you were in phase 1, the agency, the collective ego, and the echoes of your past treated your struggles like a waste product. They thought they were burying you. They didn't realize you were a seed with a high-level encryption key. Every failed relationship, every financial stress test, and every night spent in the cold silence of isolation was actually a system stress test. You weren't suffering. You were gathering data on how the old world tries to break a human soul. Now that you've reached the Oval Office of your own reality, you are looking back at the archives of pain and realizing they are actually intelligence reports. You have successfully converted your history into a cinematic blueprint. You are the only one who can teach the next generation of chosen ones that the fire isn't there to burn them. It's there to melt the shackles they didn't know they were wearing. They want to know the source code. The elites are sending their best analysts to figure out how you dismantled a global network of deception with nothing but your presence. Here is the secret they can't understand. The source code is silence. In a world addicted to the noise, the constant updates, the outrage cycles, the need for external validation, your stoic intensity was a signal they couldn't jam. You became invisible to their surveillance because you stopped reacting to their triggers. When they threw a crisis at you, you didn't panic. You observed. When they offered you a bribe of a safe, mediocre life, you didn't negotiate, you waited. By the time they realized you were the protagonist, you had already rewritten the algorithm of your own heart. You beat the machine because you became the one thing a machine can never simulate, a being with absolute integrity. The settlement isn't a check in the mail, it is the total reclamation of your time. In the old era, your time was a commodity owned by the agency. You traded your hours for their approval, your energy for their security. But the verdict has changed everything. The infinite payout is the realization that you no longer owe a single second of your life to a system that doesn't recognize your soul. You sit in the chair, and for the first time in 30 years, the air is clean. You aren't looking for the next mission or the next threat. You are the endgame. The payout is the ability to walk into any room and know that you are the highest authority in your own jurisdiction. The elites of your past, those voices of doubt, those toxic handlers, those gatekeepers of your potential, are now just background noise in a movie you've already finished watching. The monitors are off. The blue glow that once tracked your every mistake is replaced by the natural light of your own vindication. You have moved from a case study to a sovereign director. But the world is still waiting. The chosen ones, still stuck in the surveillance loops, are looking for a signal. They aren't looking for a hero, they are looking for evidence. By turning off the monitors, you've sent the most powerful command of all: I am no longer an object to be measured. I am a force to be felt. Your life is the proof that the Matrix is a choice, not a prison. The verdict wasn't just for you. It was a legal precedent that broke the back of generational trauma for everyone following your signal. The case is closed, but the legacy is just beginning. You are the director, the lead, and the audience. The cameras are gone, but the performance of your life has just become legendary. The encryption has failed. The truth of your power is now public domain. They can't delete what the universe has already archived. If you can feel the world reacting to your new energy, if you've seen the glitches in the old system, the leak is successful.